back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Ignorant Skeptics Podcast. I'm joined this evening. I'm your host, Bo Walker. I am joined by Mark Carson, who finally decided to join us for an episode of this show that he wanted to pick the topic for, and Mr. Jason Cephas.
Hi.
I'm waiting for Mark to quickly slide out of frame here. You got no comment?
I got no comment.
All right. So before we get started with this episode, I just have a question for Mark. Since you wanted to do the Lost City of Gold last week and you didn't show up, do you think the Lost City of Gold exists?
Yeah, that's kind of why I picked that topic.
I see. We got to redo it.
No, we don't. It's already up.
You ever watched Outer Banks?
No.
If you watch Outer Banks,
I'm not going to watch Outer Banks because the main character is dating Kelsey Ballerini and I'm boycotting him.
Why?
Because Kelsey Ballerini.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You're
married. All right, Jason. Let's restart this episode.
You're good, buddy. I mean, it's you're married, so I think
know,
you're off the market there, pal. So
yeah.
Sorry.
But you know what else is off the market? One of the main properties that we're going to be talking about in this episode, because it is not for sale.
You need to work on segues. We just need to do.
Hey, I mean, in his defense, it wasn't his worst.
That's top 5 of the worst segues Bo's ever
had. I mean, yeah, but it's not the worst. All right, we're talking about aliens in Area 51. All right.
We is.
Yep.
All right. Right out the bat.
Yeah.
Mark, Jason, do aliens exist?
Yes.
Maybe.
That's not an answer. When maybes are not allowed on Ignorant Skeptics, it's a yes or no answer. You got to take a side.
Well, let's you and me give our evidence, and then we'll let Jason decide at the end of the episode.
Okay.
I believe aliens exist as well.
Yeah.
What is your reasoning for it?
Well, I don't think, I think it's insane and naive to think that in the entire universe, as big as it is, the infinite nothingness that is continually expanding into larger infinite nothingness, that there's nothing else out there, be it.
I agree.
We call people from other countries, in the United States, we call, them aliens, in a derogatory sense. So I think that anything that's not from your Earth, your world, whatever, that's an alien. I don't think they're these big green-headed, lanky, big, bulgy, black-eyed things.
So Scooby-Doo was wrong?
Yeah, it's a shit show, and Scooby-Doo was wrong.
Scooby-Doo's never wrong.
Well, apparently he was this time. No Scooby snacks for you.
Damn! But no, I agree with you. I think that we'd have to be dumb to think that there's nothing else out there.
Yeah, like I said, it's not these. You see shows and things, and they just show aliens, and they're the big green. Like when you go, like the fairs used to sell those big cups, the alien cups, and they were green. Yeah. And they had the big bulgy black eyes. Like that's not what aliens look like. At least not in my opinion. Now, what does an alien look like? I don't know.
So, what in your opinion does an alien look like?
I literally just said, what does an alien look like in my opinion?
Oh, okay. I mean,
dude's got headphones on and the volume's on 900 and he still can't hear.
You cut out. That's just going to be my excuse for every time I don't hear you say something. But no, I believe aliens exist. Like you said, I don't think they're, tall, green, monster-looking things, Could they look like us? Yeah. Could Rick and Morty have gotten it completely right and there's hundreds of millions of other species? Yeah. I mean,
I like to think George Lucas is correct, and there's a parallel universe where Star Wars is happening.
Oh, absolutely. It's not a different parallel universe. It's just a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but somehow in the future.
Fair enough.
But, okay, we're getting sidetracked. Where was I going with it? Okay, yeah, I got it. We're back. Do you believe that aliens came to this Earth?
I mean, I guess, in a sense, probably.
Like, do you believe like the whole Roswell incident where a supposed alien spacecraft crash landed, they captured the aliens that passed away in the crash and all that stuff, and they're being held at Area 51. Do you think that like UFO sightings are real? Like people are actually seeing these
I mean,
things?
if you look back, even in like, so okay, so I'm gonna answer directly, and then I'll explain a little bit. No, I don't think
Absolutely.
alien like UFOs are real. Obviously,
Okay.
UFO is just unidentifiable flying object.
Yeah.
And it was shown that the military has experimented with like circular flying
Yeah.
objects. They've attempted to do that, years and years ago, like around, I think, I don't know the exact year, so I'm not going to throw a year out there, but I think it was around, like between World War II and Vietnam. I think it was in that era they experimented with like circular flying things. So I think that was a lot of like UFO sightings of old. Um, but I think that I do think aliens exist. I think they're here all the time.
So
Like those people that claim to be time travelers on TikTok.
yeah, they're
I've
never
seen
right.
some of these videos, and they convince me that maybe you really are like an alien or a time traveler. And then you watch some of them, like the one guy that we always make fun of. That's like,
Yeah.
be ready, that guy. Like, no, you're
Yeah.
being stupid.
Like if you're a time traveler, bring me back some correct scores from like the next Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like yeah, like come on. But so have you yourself ever seen a UFO?
Yeah. I think we went over this one time, maybe in the Deep Impact podcast. We talked about in Amanda's house and Jason's parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some what I can only say was a UFO. Like they essentially just looked like stars that were just jotting across the sky really quick, and then they were just gone.
Yeah. See, I've seen lights like that as well, but like they were up in the sky blinking, and then how like shooting stars shoot that down.
Yeah.
These went the opposite direction. Those went up.
Yeah.
And my dad also had a story, and he was out in the middle. He wasn't over any land. He was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and he said there were two flashing red lights, and then they went down onto the horizon. This is during Vietnam, so it could, who knows what it was. But then they shot up into the sky and disappeared. So I mean, we have some firsthand experience with seeing some UFOs. You see all of these videos coming up on TikTok, on YouTube, of people with so-called alien encounters. I don't know if you have seen. I sent it to you actually not too long, or the other day. It was in, I believe, Turkey. There were these people that were hiking in a cave, and there's like a big rock here on this side, and another one, and then there's a little crevice that they can see through, and there is something down there that looks up at them, and you can see two big black eyes, and then it moves all of a sudden and they take off. Could it have been staged like Jason thinks Bigfoot is? We don't know.
I mean, we're kind of, if you think about it, we are kind of in like Bigfoot territory with aliens.
Absolutely.
Because
it's an outer-worldly cryptid.
Yeah, there's no concrete, there's no concrete evidence that aliens are a thing.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes this such a not a hard topic to cover, but a kind of a hard topic to cover. Because I mean, for those of us that believe in aliens and UFOs and stuff like that, there's no, at least I don't have any like tangible evidence. Like I can't go, this came from an alien spaceship. I can't show you that. But like,
I think that's the whole point of conspiracy theories, though. I mean, that's how this is. There's really on any conspiracy theory, there's never concrete evidence one way or the other. That's the whole point of it being skeptical. There's never going to be, currently there's no concrete evidence about any of the things that we've discussed. It's all just opinions. And I think that's what makes it fun. I do. I think aliens are around. I don't know what they look like. I don't know if they've ever been here. Probably. Because again, like I said, there is such a vast amount of planets. It seems, more and more now we're finding that there's more planets like Earth. Well, it's crazy to think that those planets that are like Earth with an atmosphere, can support life, that those planets don't have some form of life, whether it be some beings like us or whether it be something, like animals that we know today. So, I mean, there's something more out there. As to what that is, I don't know.
So I'm currently on the archives.gov, like the National Archives, and I typed in presidential alien evidence, whatever, and this is the first article that came up from February 9th, 2018. So the National Archives has an article about alien sightings, saying that according to the U.S. Air Force fact sheet, a total of 12,618 sightings were reported to Project Blue Book, which Project Blue Book ran from 1947 to 1969. So, of those, 701 remained unidentified. So they were able to debunk all of them except for 701. And the project, which Mark, you'll like this, was once headquartered at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio.
That's pretty cool. That? I did not know that. I've been to Patterson, though.
I've been there. It's been a while since I've been there. I really want to go back.
Well, so let's Wright-Pat is it's an experimental air base. So it's not necessarily an air base as like Oceana is for the Navy. It's an air base where they swap out planes and things. You can Google it to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty darn sure it's an experimental air base wherein they don't experiment with like new planes, but it's new things that they can put on planes. So whether it's new coatings to new de-icing systems, new whatevers, they test them on the planes and they and see how they're going to work. Yeah, and they used to have some squadron type planes there. I don't know if they were fighter jets. They had like a fueling squadron used to be there out of Wright-Pat, but I do not think they currently have any like stationed squadrons of any types of planes there anymore. I think they moved closer to the I mean, not that Ohio realistically, but when you're flying is that far from a coast, but I think everything's kind of moved more to the coast, like Oceana and whatever the base is for the Air Force that's there in DC.
Area 51 is the common name, so everyone's just like, oh, Area 51, blah, 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 blah. But it is actually a highly classified United States Air Force facility within the Nevada Test and Training Range. And it actually has a different name. So it is administered by the Edwards Air Force Base. Okay? The facility is officially named Homey Airport or Groom Lake, which is named after the salt flat that is literally connected to the end of the runway. So if you look up a picture of Area 51, the runway is very long. It's longer than any runway I've actually ever seen. So
you can land any plane in the world there.
Exactly. So that they do a lot of experimental testing out there with new technology and new planes and stuff like that. That's why they need that long runway. That's where what's his name launched the Dark Star from in
Tom Cruise.
In
Maverick.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick. I almost said Mission Impossible. I mean, same actor.
Same actor. Yeah, same actor.
Different, same ballpark. Wrong pew.
And they're both. They're both action movies. Same actors.
It is officially listed as development and a testing facility. But Area 51, it's become a focus of modern conspiracy theories because of aircraft research, because of aliens, and its proximity to Roswell, New Mexico. So one of the theories include it is the storage, examination, and reverse engineering of crashed alien spacecraft facility, which includes the material supposedly recovered from Roswell, the study of the occupants, and the manufacturing of aircraft based on alien technology. So, my question for you is, Roswell, New Mexico happened in what year? 1947, right after the end of World War II. Do you think, this is a theory that I'm just popping off the top of my head, our stealth fighters that we have, our drones, our stuff like that, do you think that we would have had the technology that we did when we created them if it wasn't for the potential for alien technology from the Roswell, New Mexico crash?
Yeah, I think our country used to advance great and big things. I think that there, alien crashed alien spaceships, I think, might have aided in some form of technology, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say no because, again, no one knows what's in Area 51, and there's so many people that I've talked to. They're like, "Oh, I want to know what's there." I don't, because I don't think I want to know. I mean, I think it'd be cool to know some of the cool stuff that's there, like kind of new fighter jets you're working on, government.
Yeah, like you got an Iron Man suit.
Like, yeah, that sounds dope.
Like you got like an Iron Man War Machine suit.
I don't want to know.
You got Vision just walking around in one of the hangars. Nope, hard pass on that. That dude can kill anything.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to know if you got aliens strung up by their ankles, hanging upside down, testing their blood and things. I don't want to know. You keep doing you.
Really?
Experiment.
You don't want to know that? I would like to see an alien.
I mean, I would.
I would like, so if they had an alien hanging upside down, and they were like, "Hey, we're about to show you an alien that is hanging upside down by its ankles," you're gonna go, "Nope, I'm gonna pass." No, you wouldn't. You would. You'd be like, you would be. All right, I'm gonna see it. But then I wouldn't want to see any of the experiments they're doing on those things.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna say about Area 51. We tried to raid Area 51.
No.
And everything went downhill from that point on. So I'm just saying.
Let's
not touch it. You
ever watch some of those videos that people post on like YouTube and things when they try to go into Area 51?
Yeah, I saw the one where people accidentally drove past the boundary on motorcycles. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a big no-no to go in there.
Yeah.
So what Jason is referring to is the Storm Area 51 event of September 9th or 2019. It was a Storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us.
No,
they can.
That logic's not great. Seeing as, listen, you ever seen an M1 Abram tank? Just Google it. If you haven't, Google it, because I promise you, they might not be able to shoot everybody, but that thing will just run you over like a lawnmower through grass.
So, long story short, it actually turned out to be like a festival. Like people just went and they played music real loud. It was a bunch of, but so there were actually 7 people that took it seriously and tried to cross over the line and got arrested.
Not a great
Only
idea.
7.
Yeah.
No. Total of 150 participants and 2 non-fatal injuries. Their car rolled over.
That's the type of injury that I would expect to come out of something like that.
Right? I'm trying to find something right now. Jason, we kind of dove into last week, 2 weeks ago when we did City of Gold, El Dorado. We dove into kind of the media aspect, the movies, the cultural aspect of El Dorado.
Yep.
So I want to do that with Area 51 because I feel like there's a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, Mark, you can sit out for this section. 2 of mine and Jason's favorite movie franchises. Okay. The first movie and the most recent released movie have parts that take place in Area 51. And we're talking about Indiana Jones. Okay. Indiana Jones We see in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, when he recovers the Ark from the Nazis, the government gets it back, and you see them put it in a box, stamp it, secured, whatever it said on the box. Where does that box go, Jason?
Area 51.
In the most recent one that came out in 2008, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he gets kidnapped, digging for stuff in the desert. Where do the Russians take him? Area 51. What do they find at Area 51? The Ark of the Covenant, which is where they locked it up in the first movie. You see it. It's a little teaser. They destroy a corner of the box, and you just see the little angel wing. All right? But what do they have hidden at Area 51 in the movie? Aliens. Now, I am on IMDb, the most resourceful site when it comes to movies ever. Okay? Some of the best movies, action movies, have taken place or had some kind of tie-in with Area 51. Independence Day. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Wouldn't say it was the best action movie, but it's a good one.
No, it really wasn't.
No. Zero Dark 30, the movie about the attack on Osama bin Laden.
I didn't know that was filmed there.
I didn't either.
Oh,
yeah.
The Fantastic Four. This was the one from 2015, the one that had Miles Teller in it. Not the best one, but after their incident, they're taken to Area 51 to have tests run on them.
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch. I forgot about that movie. Holy crap. You guys remember the movie Paul?
Time out. Go back.
Are we?
No, hold on. What was the last movie you said?
Paul?
Nope.
No.
Go back.
Lilo and Stitch.
Bo, that's an animated movie.
They still talk about Area 51 in it.
I thought we were on like action movies.
You said movies that were recorded at Area 51.
No, I said that had some kind of tie-in with Area 51.
What did Area 51 have to do with Lilo and Stitch?
I don't know. I'm just going off the list. Go back and watch it. They didn't actually film any of these movies at Area 51, Mark. You think they just got a soundstage sit up next to Hangar 7? No!
This is not what he said.
You moron!
Said they were filmed there.
No!
No, I was perplexed because you were talking about action movies and you pulled Lilo and Stitch out of nowhere, and I was like, whoa.
Is Lilo and Stitch not an action movie, Jason?
No.
Not in my opinion, no. I don't know about IMDb, but apparently it is.
Okay, so this is not just all movies, by the way. This is all media. Because I got to number 16 on this list. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus video game. There was an actual movie called Area 51. Came out in 2015.
I think out of all of the topics that we have discussed on this show, I think Aliens, Area 51, that has to have the most amount of pop culture influence than anything that we have talked about on this show. Like, am I wrong in speculating that?
I mean, I actually found more talking about El Dorado than I was able to find on Area 51 in media. Now, see, I did go through. Oh no, you're good. You're good. Let's see. See also, there's an Area 52.
Yeah, it's the less popular one. We don't talk about that one.
I'm sure there's an Area 50 as well.
Yeah. But no, I was able to find more like it when we looked up El Dorado.
Yeah.
Wikipedia had its own El Dorado in media on its page. I typed in Area 51 media on Wikipedia and nothing came up. It took me to the movie.
Hey, fair enough. I mean, like I said, that was just me speculating, but...
No, you're good. But I mean, I do agree with you. I mean, I feel like it does have a lot of connotation in today's pop culture.
Yeah. And as far as like debunking UFOs and stuff like that. There was a show I used to watch. It was on Sci-Fi, and it was called Fact or Fake. And it was a group of people, and they would get videos that they either found or was sent into them, and it was of a UFO or something flying in the sky, something an alien walking, or sometimes they got paranormal activity stuff, and they would meet up with the person who shot the video and got the camera that was used to film the video, and they would try to recreate it.
Okay.
So if they had a video of something flying in the air, they would get something that resembled what was in the video and try to recreate it. And it was really cool because most of the time they were able to not necessarily debunk it, but they were able to find something that is very, very similar to what the actual video showed. It was a decent show, and like I said, a lot of times they did kind of come up with what could have been in the video, could it have been faked, and obviously at the end they always they go through and they determine whether it was fact or faked. And I mean, there were a handful of times that that they couldn't find an explanation for something. In terms of like debunking stuff, that's a show that I think really did a good job at.
Now, see, this is going to be a little off track here because I want to do something like in person I know this is probably a big thing, but I want to do something like in person where we actually film it, not just on Zoom. Like, I don't know, we go out in the woods one night and we sit there and we just look up at the stars and see if we can see anything that looks weird. Okay? Something stupid like that. But what I really want to do is when we get to the paranormal activity episodes, not the movies, no copyright. When we get to paranormal ghosts, when we get to stuff like that, I want to go do a ghost hunt.
I'm down.
Have fun.
Mark.
No.
Mark.
Nope.
What do Jason and I have to do to convince you to go do a ghost hunt?
I won't do it.
Why?
Because I don't mess with that.
You're good.
Power of Christ compels me, but I am not going to go mess with spirits, demons, ghosts, whatever.
No. We ain't going to mess with them. We're going to communicate with them.
That's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It doesn't matter if you're provoking or not. I'm not into that. I'm not into. I have a ghost that lives with me. We'll get to that on a different day, and he's about the extent of the ghost that I communicate with, and I'm done with that. I'm good.
You don't want to go walk around the Moundsville Penitentiary at night.
No, definitely not. I've been there and seen some creepy stuff myself. In the middle of the day, and
exactly.
I need to be there after dark.
Dude, we got to.
No,
we have to.
Aren't you the one that's scared of heights? You're scared to.
Yeah, I'm scared of heights. I'm not scared of the dark.
You're afraid to climb a ladder that's 3 foot off the ground. You about had a panic attack when you're 8 foot off the ground on my roof over here, but you want to go.
I didn't have proper shoes, and I was going to fall off of your roof.
You weren't going to fall off. That's a different story. You were seated safely on the roof, not moving, and you were like,
oh. Right. And heights are two different things.
Yeah, they're both phobias. I'm not scared of them. I'm not going to go mess with it.
Just like I had to go put up your Christmas lights for you.
That's not a phobia. I can't climb a ladder. I'd put dents in my roof if I climbed on my roof.
Do you guys have anything else you want to cover with when it comes to Area 51?
No, not really.
I mean, I was going to try and delve into, like, music about Area 51, but for the life of me, I cannot think of a single song that has anything to do with Area 51.
Yeah, I don't think so. I can't even think of any, music in like mainstream pop culture that would be even about aliens. You know what I mean?
It's a very niche. What's the word I'm looking for? Very niche conspiracy.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I think that aliens, like, as opposed to some of the other things that we've covered, which are more like popular to be talked about, stuff like Bigfoot, things like that. Aliens are one of those things that it's very left, or not
exactly. It's one or the other.
They're black and white, left and right, however you want to look at it. It's either
yes.
exist, no, they don't. It's not like Bigfoot. You're like, maybe, I don't know, because I feel like there's very few people, and I'm part of the group that's like, no, Bigfoot doesn't exist. That's it. I feel like the vast majority of people, it could exist. And so aliens, though, but I feel like aliens are one of those, like you just said, like the niche conspiracies, where you're very one-sided. It is, yes, they exist, no, they don't. That's it.
Yeah, I would like to speak with someone, like, personally. It doesn't have to be on a recording like this or whatever, but I would like to talk to someone that's had a firsthand experience of alien encounter to try and
a lot of people
get.
You talk to a lot of people that get, they want to put like religion even into like, do aliens exist? And they're like, well, aliens can't exist because the Bible says God created man. Was on the Bible doesn't say that God created Earth, and then He put humans on the planet Earth, and then He put giraffes and rabbits and penguins. It just says He created the universe and put life into it. And again,
didn't say where.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's where, I've probably not on this podcast, but I know in our group of friends, I've used the phrase oversaved as a person where they take everything super literal.
Yeah.
And it's not. He created the universe and life itself. He created life. All the creatures, all the birds in the air, all the fish of the sea, all the mammals of the land, and He created humans. It wasn't Adam and Eve. It was simply Adam. The closest word in Aramaic that sounded like Adam just meant human. God created human.
Yep.
And Aramaic, for those of you that don't know, Aramaic was what the Bible would have originally been written in. I don't think anyone actually speaks Aramaic anymore.
It's a dead language.
It's much like Latin is pretty much a dead language. People still do, in some settings, there's still some Latin that is spoken, but for the most part, Latin, much like Aramaic, is a dead language.
But no, I do agree with you that it's very black and white. But I don't know. I believe the aliens exist, and I want proof that they don't. Until I see proof. Go ahead.
I'll sum it up and say, I don't know, but I'm going to remove the phrase aliens.
Okay.
I'm convinced that there is other life in the universe. I won't call it aliens because, again, like we said at the beginning, a lot of foreign people, when you go to, if we went to Germany, we would be an alien in Germany because we're not German. We don't speak fluent German. Even if you can't, like, I could go to Spain and Mexico and a lot of parts of South America, and I could probably get myself around because I do speak some Spanish. But that doesn't make me, from any of the South American countries. That doesn't make me Mexican. It doesn't make me Spanish. I would be an alien in those countries. So again, anything that is foreign to that area is an alien. And so I think life exists outside of planet Earth as we know it. But what that is, I can't tell you. I can't tell you what they look like. I can't tell you, if they can speak languages like we know. Maybe they're not advanced. Maybe they're so far advanced, that when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, he met one of them and freaked out, and that's why he was never the same when he came back from the moon. I don't know.
Maybe that's why we haven't been back.
Well, we were back after 11. We just haven't been back for quite a while.
I thought we only went back to one.
No, 11, 12, 14, and 15, or 14 and... I think we've been there either 3 or 4 times. 13 was the one. It circled the moon. and came back. They never landed.
But wasn't that the one though that had the issues? Apollo 13.
Yeah, Apollo 13 was the one that had the. I guess this is still this is still spacey, so we're good. Yeah, so we never landed on the moon to Apollo 11, which was in 1969, and then we did.
Now, did they actually land on the moon?
Yes, for sure. That we could. Yeah. I mean, that's a quick conspiracy theory. Okay, first off, here's the one thing
I believe they did. I'm just messing with you.
It's fine. This is the whole point of Ignorant Skeptics. We're about to debate about it. The one thing I use that I all the time to me that should shut everybody down that doesn't believe we landed on the moon. If you don't believe we landed on the moon, we say we have so many nuclear weapons, so many bombers, so many fighter jets. China, Russia, all these bigger countries would be like, "You're lying. We know you don't have that much." We put a flag on the moon, and we always see the same side of the moon. We never see the dark side of the moon. And we landed on what would have been the side of the moon that we see. And you're going to tell me that China and all the time they've been in space, Russia, all the time they've been in space, all these, England, all these other people that have been into space, they wouldn't have called us out at some point, been like, "Hey, you're lying. You weren't there. There's no flag. There's no evidence of your rovers landing on the moon. There's no lunar landers. There's no lunar rovers on the moon." People could be like, "Oh, moon rocks are just meteorites. You could find those in your yard outside some nights." Well, you are correct, but since 1969, somebody, especially nowadays, Russia, China, somebody would have called us out and said, "Hey, you have lied about the moon landing to your people since 1969."
Yeah, we've been to the moon. We've brought back rocks. We've brought back evidence.
When people say, "Well, the flag waved," well, it did, because when he put it in the ground, he had to screw it in because it wasn't soft like we anticipated. It was softer than we anticipated, but only down to a certain extent. That's why you see the really deep footprints. It compressed.
Topsoil.
Yeah, topsoil. And then I guess it'd be more like sand because it compacted like a footprint, not much. Because soil doesn't compact that much, but you get my point.
I got you.
But yeah, I think that it's crazy, and again, so to go back to the flag, when he screwed it in there and he held the flag straight out so you could get the picture. Well, even in a vacuum, put something in a vacuum, it's still eventually it's going to drape because it can't stand straight out. You put a piece of paper in a vacuum and just it's there. Eventually it's going to work its way down. I mean, it's going to float to the bottom of the vacuum box that it's in. So
the moon still has gravity.
Well, the moon is still moving, so there is wind resistance that's coming across the surface of the moon. So the flag, is inevitably going to move. It may have been knocked down, especially when they, jettisoned off of the moon to go back and attach back up. Cool little tidbit about Apollo 11. Neil Armstrong never landed on the moon in training.
Wasn't he not supposed to be the first one off?
No, he was. It was always.
I thought someone else was supposed to be the first one off, but they couldn't get their boots on properly.
No, it was. They went back and forth a lot. Neil Armstrong was always going to be the person that was flying it, and that's kind of what still freaks me out. Is like, oh, we just sent this guy up there, and he's never landed in training. He's never landed this thing, but it's fine.
Trial by fire.
It really was. I mean, and they didn't even land where they were supposed to land. And so they had to
they were supposed to land on the dark side of the moon.
And they had to recalculate how to get back to attach up with the module. And what also is crazy is they had one chance to do that. If they missed, that would still be floating in space today, all by itself. Michael Collins would have came back all by himself.
No shit.
Yep. Look, Google real quick, because I know you're on your phone. How many missions went to the moon? I think it was 3 or 4. I think it was 13. I'm sorry, 11, 12, and 17. I think.
Okay. Of the moon landings, Luna 2 of the Soviet Union was the first spacecraft to reach its surface successfully, intentionally impacting the moon on September 13th, 1959. It was not manned.
Yeah, we were the first.
So we were the first manned mission to the moon.
We weren't the first people in space. We weren't the first people to orbit the Earth. The only first really that we had in space was we were the first people to go to the moon and come back.
Correct.
And actually the only country that's ever been to the moon.
Hold on. Oh, there have been a lot of moon missions. Hold on.
Yeah, but we've only landed on the moon.
Okay. The United States has had 36. NASA has had 36 successful missions to the moon.
But how we landed? We only went, I think, 3 or 4 times. I think.
Sorry, yeah, they've had 55 total missions to try and reach the moon. 36 successful, 2 partial failures, 14 failures, 3 operationals.
I would assume the 3 operationals were the 3 times that we actually landed on the moon. Because we've been there a lot. We've observed it. We've taken samples. We've gotten samples of stuff around there. But I think we've only landed on the moon 3 times. I could be wrong.
Okay, hold on. Apollo program. So there are actually there are 2 different United States moon programs. There's the Surveyor program and then the Apollo program.
Yeah, Apollo is the one that went to would have went to the moon. Apollo 11 was the first one.
Manned missions to the moon. Sorry.
Yes.
Surveyor were unmanned, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before Apollo, and then there was Apollo 11.
Like probes.
Yeah, there was Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 6. Is that what you said?
No, I said 3 landed on the moon.
Okay, so yeah, we've had 6 landed on the moon.
So which were those? Because again, it was 11. I knew that.
11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay, I knew we had a pretty. I guess that makes a lot more sense because the first time we went, we just walked on the moon, collected some samples, and came back. And we went back the second time, and we did, I think, essentially the same type of thing. And then we started bringing more stuff with us. Like, that's when we got lunar rover.
So,
like that.
We're the only ones that have landed on the moon. We have had 6 successful. We've had 5 unmanned missions. Russia has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unmanned missions to the moon. And China has had 3. Most recently, December of 2020. But on January 3rd of 2019, they went to the dark side of the moon.
Pretty cold over there.
Yeah, you know who else went to the dark side of the moon?
Pink Floyd.
1973. But yeah, the space is awesome. We're not alone out there, in my opinion. In Mark's opinion, Jason, you still iffy on it?
I mean, there's something out there. I mean,
we converted him.
No, that was always my opinion.
No, we converted you for the sake of the episode.
He was a convert.
He was an ignorant skeptic until the end of this episode.
I'm always an ignorant skeptic. So,
all right, guys, let's wrap it up for tonight. You can follow us at the Deep Impact pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify at Ignorant Skeptics Podcast. When you go to YouTube, make sure you hit like, subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you never miss an episode.
Ding.
Thank you. But yeah, so keep an eye out. We'll be posting this next week. But yeah, you guys, you can see us next week. Deep Impact Podcast, sports podcast, and we'll give you a little quick WrestleMania recap, and we'll see you guys same time, same place next week at the Deep Impact Podcast. Love you. Bye.